Okay, so by the way, this will be recorded. So good afternoon. We'll be discussing some topics and some things that we need to prepare for this course. The course requirements, which is the final project. So first, what we're going to discuss is basically about um, the module 1 assessment, no. So I believe nakita na ninyo dito sa module 1, pinaka last na part, there is a module 1 assessment. So siguro nabasa na ninyo siya, but I will be discussing in details the module 1 assessment. I already posted a thread also in Google Classroom. And then just a reminder of the things, of the criteria of our course and the final project, basically, which is to, as we all know, no, that our course is quantitative methods, and part of the course outcomes is to produce a quantitative research paper, and part of that are the other requirements, which we will discuss later. So before we start with the module 1 assessment, I just want to remind everyone that this is a higher education class. When I say higher education class, you are already in college, right? So when you are in college, you already know what to do and what not to do, and you already know how to decide for yourself. And um, when I teach, college students, basically I teach college students, no, since that's the time memorial of my career as an educator. I always see to it that most of the time the students will do the explorations, because in college or higher education, the faculty will facilitate the learning. However, the gaining of learnings and the gaining of knowledge will be done by the student. Okay? So dili ko kana nga maestro nga magsige lang kog hungit og tanan na pagkaon sa inyo ha ako muhungit. Okay? So your college students, do your responsibility, do your part, and let's meet halfway, no, and how can we decide for yourselves and be a professional. This is our actually in preparation of your capstone project, kumbaga, or in preparation for your professional life. Okay, so let's start with the module 1 assessment. So din ako siya na-open daan. Module 1 assessment. Open saan ako, ha? Again, this is recorded. So basically, I will just post it in Drive or in YouTube siguro, but in private, ha. Depende man good, medyo tako na kayong storage sa akong Drive. Ayan. So i-open sana ako ang module 1. So module 1 is basically mostly talks about the introduction of research, no? And so it's an introduction of research. There are 3 lessons, which basically introduce you how to conduct how the significance of research and in education, and the different research designs na discuss dito sa module. The different research designs example will be correlation, pre-test, post-test, for Solomon design, evaluative research design, regression analysis, etc. Okay? Correlation, relationship. So those are different research designs. In lesson 3, we discuss about the different types of variables and how the research works, no? Gikan sa identification of the problem, literature review, etc. Okay, so module 1 assessment. This is module 1 assessment in module 1. So this has already been uploaded in our G Classroom. Again, if you have any questions, you can just message your questions in the chat box, no? In the Google Meet. So module 1 is about assessment. Module 1 assessment is about research journal article analysis, no? So in the instructions, you need to select one research article which is a quantitative research. When we say it's a quantitative research, it belongs to the different quantitative research design. Kung correlation, pwede correlation, pre-test, post-test, Solomon, evaluative, descriptive assessment, correlation regression. So na dito no sa lesson 2 ata na siya. And then you can actually know that it is a quantitative research because in the results and in the conclusion, the result of the research is basically in numerical interpretation. Okay? So I believe na sa lesson 1 at or lesson 2 medyo na describe not on difference of a qualitative research and a quantitative research. Okay? So you will be selecting these sites, no, mamili lang mo isa ka article na quantitative research in these websites or other research journal websites. So please take note no ang journal must be published. When we say publish, I will show to you later how to know that it is published. You can know that it is published online if there is an ISSN. Or na siya header, na po siya footer, na siya nakapangalan na published in international journal, etc. And it must be published in the last 5 years. So that means 2016 ang pinaka-minimum up to the present. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay? So again, it must be a quantitative research. So I'll show you an example later, no? So to determine the following, you need to determine the following, no? Research variables. When we say research variables, we have actually identify and describe research variables in lesson 3. That means research variables are those variables that can hold an interpretation or value of the research in terms of the different indicators. So there are different kinds of research variables, no? And ang pinaka-importante lang yung ma-identify if it is a independent ba or dependent variable, if it is the different kinds of variables. So di na lang ako na i-in-depth na naman sa lesson 3 sa module 1. And then, of course, na may research article, no? So you need to identify the research variables. And then main research question, no? Kung unsa ba jud iyang problem sa research na iyang gusto i-solve, no, sa article. And then the research design. So research design, it could be a experimental or non-experimental. Kung experimental ba siya, you can further explain kung if it is a pre-test, post-test for Solomon design. If it is non-experimental, it could be a descriptive assessment. It could be evaluative, or it could be correlation or correlation regression. So participants of the study, kinsa ang participants, no? Example, dito sa ilang research article, naka-state jud na the participants of the study are the best IT students of St. Mary Bansalan. So, naka-state jud dito. So, all you just need to do is to copy the kato siya na statement. And then, instrument use, no? This is the survey questionnaire. So, usually, naka-describe ang instrument use sa article. If wala siya described, you can just mention, kung na-mention nila na it is a researcher-made questionnaire. So, dili kayo na kailangan taas ang mga answers dira, no? You just need to identify coming from the different articles. And then, participant selection, sampling technique, no? Ang giunsa nila pag-select sa participant, kanang katubang mga participants nga, fourth year na ba, or participants na mga male lang batanan, or participants that they have gained this kind of grade. So, depende na siya. Usually, naka-state na siya. And then, the sampling technique, kung yun sa nila pag-sample. When we say sample, mauna siya ang portion of the population lang. Okay? Kung tayo na 1,000 population, you just, the researchers usually get a sample or a portion of the 1,000 population. Kung tahay, based on their sampling, gikuha lang nila 200 lang kabok respondents from the 1,000 population. So, there are many kinds of techniques of the sampling. So, nana siya sa module 2 actually. But however, in the different research articles, naka-state yun na siya on sa sampling technique, especially in quantitative research. Next would be the statistical tools. Of course, this is a quantitative research. So, this is numerical. It is in, the result is in numerical. So, dapat ma-identify nila kung unsang tools ang ilang gigamit na Nag-descriptive ba sila? Na-correlation ba sila? Unsa pa, etc. Okay? I'll show you an example later. And then the main results and the conclusions. So you just need to summarize unsa ang result niya, no? So, of course, naman dyan yung conclusion na siya result, you just need to provide a 1 to 2 paragraph of the summary of the conclusion or the result. And then lastly, you need to write the reference. So the reference of the article must be in IEEE format. So in IEEE format, it must be ano po no, naka-use lang kanina sa naka-link siya, no. You can click this link to know the for the IEEE format. Okay? So write a journal article with at least 300 words and at most 500 words. So plagiarism percentage will be checked, no, those reflections that are copied from the internet sources or either will be penalized, no. So in the journal article, after the reference, dapat mo mag-journal article critique. So mga around 3 to 4 paragraphs na siya na in maximum of 500 words. So, of course, dapat na plagiarism, no? Ako dyan siyang i-check ang plagiarism. And then, in the journal article, dapat ma-discuss ninyo this, no, strengths and weaknesses. Kung nag-agree ba mo sa ilaha, you can relate it to, relate ninyo siya sa, like, observations ninyo sa mga news karon and accuracy of the article, no? And then, pwede mo provide of your own examples, your own observations on the related siya sa article. So na ko'y gihatag na format, I'll show it later, no. So this is by individual or by pair or by trio assessment. So you can select your own group if you want to, no. So pwede ra pod individual, pwede ra pod by pair or by trio. But isa lang mag-submit, no, sa ato ang Google Classroom. Okay, asan ako to siya? Stop, saan ako na siya? Nasya diri sa... Okay, nasya diri. Asa sir nila kasi. For a moment, ginapangita pa na ako. Asa siya kasi. If you have questions, just write your questions diri sa baba. Okay. And then, this is the module assessment 1 format, no? You can use this format, no, as your guide. So, just write your names, date submitted, your program, BSIT, and then, dili nyo isulat unsang title, no, sa journal, and then, kinsa tong mga authors, no? And then, ako na lang i-share tanan ang screen para magbalhin-balhin ta. So, I'll show an example. I-open lang na ko siya. Ayun na. Not that. Okay. Ay. Naka-entire screen siya, sorry. Gusto na ko siya magbalhin-balhin ta o tab. Okay. So, this is the template, no? The authors and affiliations. So, let's see an example here. This is the example that I'll show to you, no? So, this is basically in researchgate.net. So in researchgate.net, it's basically about all of it is na mga research, no. So I'll share to you the link of my profile of the ResearchGate. So muna siya nasa chat box. So that is the link, no. So the authors and affiliations, Of course, no, define ninyo kinsa to mga authors. So, there is a research gate. Usually, na siya yung parang na siya full text, no? So, first is basically, you can identify if the article is published. So, i-identify ninyo. So, usually, nakapublish siya, na siya header, na siya ISSN, and then, what you call this? You need to identify if it is a quantitative research. So, usually, nasa sa abstract kung quantitative research siya. So, usually, naka-state na correlational ba siya or the result is ang result niya is in numerical value. So, usually, nasa sa results dire. So, pag nakita ninyo sa results, most of the results is na ay numbers or numerical and they use statistical analysis for that. So, that is a quantitative research. So, if naka-identify na mo that the article is a quantitative research and publish siya, then you can select it. So, basically, authors, so mao ni siyang authors, no? You just need to copy and the affiliation of the authors, the title, i-copy lang ninyo siya. And then, you need to identify the research variables. So, the research variables is, as I mentioned, if it holds the value of katong gusto nyo i-test ang iyang relationship, etc. Okay? So, and then, the main research question or problem. So, kaning main research question, usually, nani siya sa abstract. Pero kung di nyo makita, na dyan ay naka-state nga, na siya dire, research questions, dara. So, you can just copy, no, the research question. So, usually, the research question is, unsa iyahang gusto i-solve ani na research, okay? So, the title here is Exploring the Relationship Between the Effect of Technology and Employee Performance, the Case of Merinol College of Panabo Incorporated. So, kanin siya na-research siya, word pa lang daan na relationship, this is a correlation, correlation na study, no? And then, the variable here is basically, the variable here is the effect of technology and kaning employee performance. Because when ang correlation man good na study, you are actually relating two variables, the effect of technology, which is the variable 1, and the variable 2, which is employee performance. Inyuha siyang i-test, based sa inyong research, i-test ninyo kung kaning duha ka variables na by relationship. Okay? Iba? Iba naman tayo mga ka-fling-fling, mga ta kung asa man dyan ipadulong atong relationship, kutob lang ba diri or kutob lang ta sa pag MU lang ba, no? So that's actually the same with correlation. You will test if there is a positive relationship or negative relationship or neutral na relationship. Okay? So basically, no, that is the research questions. So this study aim to resolve the controversy, etc. So ay ilang research question, they want to know kung nabay relationship ang okay, ang the effect of technology and employee performance. So furthermore, you can actually copy this, no? These are the further questions. So you can copy this, no? They want to know ang demographic profile, unsang age group, gender. They want to know the level of the effects of technology. They want to know the level of employee performance. So that again, the two variables here is the effects of technology and employee performance. So those are the two variables that they want to test kung nabay relationship ang duha ka variable using the survey and the result of the survey and the statistical analysis results. And then, mo na siya inyong i-mention dira, no? You can just copy kay mamanjud to ilahang research questions. And then research design, most of the quantitative research articles, na dyan na siya naka-state unsa ang research design. Okay? So, naka-mention jud siya, no, sa ilang research na the study employed a quantitative non-experimental research design utilizing the correlational technique. So, it's a quantitative non-experimental correlational study. So, you can just mention na Kung ano siya, the article is using quantitative non-experimental correlation, or you can just copy this statement. Okay? So most of the time, nadyo na siya naka-state na mo ni siya ang research design. However, 9 times na wala naka-label, pero naka-state siya sa iyahang article. Nana siya sa methodology na part. And then, participants of the study, no, most of the time, naka-state yun na siya. Kinsa ang participants of the study? So, ilaha is, ang participants of the study are faculty, admin staff, maintenance, and techbook department na mga employees dito sa Marinol College of Panabo. So, state lang ninyo siya. Mauni siya ang participants sa study. And then, pwede po nyo i-state kung dahil naka-given siya nung pila ka buok ang participants sa study. So, you can just state there. And then, instruments used, no, as I mentioned dito sa previous natin na discussion, usually na siya naka-state kung unsay gigamit na instrument. But however, kung walay gibutang dira, so you can just mention that, dire naka-mention na, no, na ilahang nagamit sila og research survey. So, pwede rin nyo i-mention na the researchers use a researcher-made questionnaire. Okay, take note, the researcher used a researcher-made questionnaire kung wala naka-state. And then, research local, when we say research local, asa man na siya nahitabo nga research. Okay, of course, sa ano pa lang dano sa title, nahitabo siya sa Marinol College of Panabo. So, i-mention lang ninyo na siya dira kung asa na siya nahitabo na research. And then, participant selection, yun sila how did they select the participants and how did they select, no, or unsa ilang sampling. So naka-state diri sa ilahan, no, this study utilized random purposive sampling technique. Okay, so mo na siya ang sampling technique. Statistical tools is unsa ang mga statistical tools silang gigamit. So, usually naka-state po na siya, naka-state siya dire sa statistical analysis. Here, no, naka-state na in addressing each of the laid questions, the researcher utilized frequency, mean, analysis, ANOVA, etc. So, inyo lang i-copy na siya or i-mention lang diri nga part sa statistical tool kung unsa na siya na discussion or unsa ilang gigamit na tools. And then lastly, you can just summarize the results. So after mangud sa methodology is the results. So taas kay ng results, no, actually you can read and then you will summarize. And then you can also read the conclusions. Kay mao man ni pod ang summary sa results. So you can just summarize, you can just give 1 to 2 paragraph para sa main results. And then next will be the reference. As I've mentioned, you will need to use IEEE format, and the link for the guide for IEEE format for the reference is the katong nasa link, no, sa Module 1 assessment. So, isa lang naka-reference, of course. Isa lang man ka-article inyong i-analyze. And then lastly, there is a journal critique. Of course, this will be the part, as I mentioned, inyong i-answer kung unsa man ang strength and weaknesses sa article, and then i-relate ninyo siya sa mga news, observations ninyo, your own academic opinions, naga-agree ba mo, naga-disagree ba mo, or mga other articles also. Sige, so that is 500 words in maximum. Okay, ayun na kay taas, ano, kay kapoy po kay basa, basta maximum of 500 words, 300 to 500 words. Actually, that is just 2 to 3 paragraphs or 2 to 4 paragraphs lang. Okay? So that is our Module 1 assessments, no? As I mentioned, you just need to select one article. This is a by trio, by pair, or by individual. So you can open the link of my ResearchGate. Daghan kay kog dira, no? Daghan kay kog articles na quantitative articles. Dili tanan na quantitative, no? So you just need to identify unsa man ang quantitative research. Most of them are published, no? Most of them are published. Pwede ra pod mo diri mangita, it's not but it's optional that you can also select other articles, no, from the given websites na akong gihatag dito sa Module 1 assessment. So mamili lang mo isa actually. Okay, so that ends our discussion of Module 1 assessment. So I hope you have got the links, no, and then Kung na may questions, this is the time for you to ask questions about Module 1 assessment. Any questions? Kung wala, we can proceed na. Hello? Na may pangutana about the Module 1 assessment because I will consider na nakasabot na mo. And di ba ako ganahan magsige pangutana sa GC or sa PM. I hope na you understand how to answer the Module 1 assessment. And then that actually how you will answer. Actually, Module 1 assessment, ang pinakasayon na assessment sa entire na modules, na 5 ka modules. So, hopefully, hinahinayon na to siya ma-answeran. And then you can start actually answering na. And then 2 weeks gihapon ang deadline, So, na-post na ako siya today. So, after 2 weeks ang deadline. However, you can still submit. Katong mga na-late mo, you can still submit actually. Wala may naka-cut off na date. Hopefully, ma-submit ninyo siya early. Pero kung di dyan makaya, pwede man nyo beyond the deadline. Of course, you will have lesser score on that. Okay, so let's proceed na. Wala na may question. Just chat daw. Please chat lang daw na no, sir. Para makampante ko nga, wala na yung question. So that we can proceed. Okay, so I hope you understand, no? Thank you for that. Like I said, ang final project lahi to siya. Kani module man gud siya na submission. So it could be individual, by pair or by trio. Lahi to siya. It's for the final project. Okay, so let's proceed with the final project na, no? For a moment. Okay, for the final project, okay, for a moment. One moment in time. Yes, again, lahi to siya ha. Kani siya is for the ang mga module submission na by pair, by trio, or by individual, lahi to siya kamumpod mamili na grupo. Isa lang ang mag-submit ha, isa lang mag-submit sa kanang module 1 assessment. Isa lang ang pwede mag-submit kung by pair ba mo or by trio. Just make sure nga sa inyong module 1 assessment na pag-submit or kanang mga by pair, by trio na mga assessment or application, just make sure nga sa private comment kani sa inyong submission pag mag-submit na mo or mag-turn in, nakasulat ang mga pangalans dito and napod siya sa inyong submission para double ang akong pagtanaw ba nga na these are the names of the katong na-submit na file. Okay, so I hope na-answer na ko ang question. And then we'll proceed now with your final project, no? Okay. I believe na-mention na ko ang final project, no? In the class orientation 2 weeks ago. This is a group project. And then this is basically a project wherein you will need to require you will need to write a full short paper of a quantitative research paper, no? And then I will discuss right now unsa tong mga specific and detailed na mga information and requirements of the final project. Okay, so I would like to reiterate, no, that this is our grading system. 10% will be module activity and analysis. 25% will be in the application sa module. Diba, every lesson na siya application. 25% will be the assessment, no? Example ka ng Module 1 assessment. And then the 40% of your grade, a large chunk of your grade, is the final requirements. So a total of 100%. So, for your final project, as I've mentioned, the final project is the culmination of your entire course. So, hinahinayan nato na siya sulat. We start submitting titles starting today, I believe. And then, it is also the course outcomes of the course known as CO2. You need to write a full research paper on ICT variables implementing correlation design. So when we say ICT variables, kuani siya, no? Dapat ang variable ninyo dito sa inyong title o sa inyong ipang study, ipang ask of research questions will be ICT related. So, I'll mention later on sa itong mga variables that could be ICT related after mapakita na ko mga example na papers. So, this is a full paper gikan sa title, abstract, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, acknowledgement and references with your curriculum vitae, survey questionnaire, etc. Okay? Aside being the major assessment in Module 5, this will serve as your final exam. And your entire, wala na ako na-edit, no? Your grade, your 40% grade of your final term or your final grade, no? And then, sa Module 5, manggod na siya activity and analysis gihapon. Pero, optional na lang siya mo submit. Sa Module 5, nagyapoy application, but required siya since every chapter is the application, no? For let's say, for example, sa lesson 1 ng application, you need to submit the chapter 1 of your final project. So, mao na to siya ang application sa Module 5. So, sa lesson 2, you need to submit the chapter 2 of your final project. So, mao na to siya ang Module 5, Lesson 2 application. However, in the activity and analysis sa Module 5, optional na, dili na ta mag-submit. Pwede mo submit pero dili na siya graded. And then, focus na lang dyan ta. Pag abot man gud sa Module 5, focus na ta sa pagsulat sa paper. So, this is a group project, no? And then, group member must consist 3 to 6 members. 2 main authors nga student. So, mag-identify mo sa inyong grupo kinsa man ang duha ka main author. And then, there will be 2 co-faculty author. Isa na ko dito, and isa dito is coming from the gi-identify ni Sir John. Gihatagad ko niya mga names for later na ta mag-identify or mag-assign og co-faculty. Kaya ilaman lang trabaho is the final checking sa inyong paper katong final revisions na. And then lastly, katong dili main author will be tagged or will be called as contributors. So gitawag siya 3, I decided pwede 3, pwede 5, pwede 6 because there will be level of difficulty based kung pila ka number of members per group, no? So later on na siya after the slide. So, the research design must be assessment research. When we say assessment research, isa lang siya ka-variable. Example, you just want to assess the computer skills of BSIT students in St. Mary Bansalan. So, pwedeng ana lang siya. Isa lang ka-variable. The variable on the title of that is the computer skills. Assessment of the computer skills of the BSIT students in St. Mary Bansalan. So, that is the one title, one variable assessment research. So, pwede po correlational research. When we say correlational research, as I've mentioned earlier, you will be asking for kung nabay relationship ang variable 1 o variable 2. In correlational research, you can conduct only correlational analysis. This is to identify kung naabay relationship. Then you can further explore on conducting regression analysis. This is to identify if the variable 1 ba naga-influence ba sa variable 2. So you can know if the research used a regression analysis kay sa title pa lang daan mahibala na nimo na ay impact, effect, effectiveness, influence. So pag naganay-ana ng mga title, that means they have conducted a regression analysis. So, ang first requirement ani na final project, ang deadline niya will be on February 28, which is you need to submit 2 titles, and then you also need to submit kinsa ang main author and contributors of your group. Okay? So, for a moment, Okay. So, 2 titles para pag-submit nyo sa 2 titles, muhatag man ko comment and muhatag ko suggestion, moingon ko rejected ba ni na title, or I might give you some suggestions sa unsaon pagpanindot sa title, or ma-accept ba yung title. Okay? So, ang ano ana will be February 28. Hindi siya required. Not required din siya, no? At least tulo lang na. Okay. Okay. So, any questions so far before we proceed? May question? So, sige, proceed ta. No? Pwede rin nyo i-chat ang question. So, proceed ta. Again, no, you need to submit on or before February 28 2 titles. Nag-post na ako sa Google Classroom na to o Google Form dito. Dito nyo i-submit ang titles. 2 titles and the members of your group. So, as you notice, I've mentioned earlier nga no siya nisugot kog 3 members up to 6 members, no? Because it depends on the number of members kung unsa inyong minimum requirement and your maximum grade. So, kung 3 to 4 members mo, ang minimum requirement ninyo is the easy one, katong one variable research nga assessment research. However, the maximum grade on each deliverables of the project will be 90 only. Okay? So, pag 2 to 4 members mo, pwede mo magma-assessment, pwede po mo mag-correlation. Pero pwede po mo mag-assessment kung di jud kanyo kaya ang correlation. Kaya of course, 3 members lang good mo or 4 members lang mo. However, kung 5 to 6 members mo, dili pwede ang assessment research with one variable. Ang required niya is correlation research siya of 2 variables with at least 2 indicators per variable. Okay? So, unya na lang ng 2 indicators, no? Basta mo na siya, naman te other discussion, ana. So, that is the difference. Natay optional diri, wala lang na kayo nakita. But the optional here is pwede mo mag-regression analysis. Pero dili na siya required. I also suggest nga ayaw na lang kay basig madugay mo o buhat sa project. Okay? So, klaro ta ana no, at pag 3 to 4 members, katong easier nga research design, which is the assessment research. However, the maximum grade is 90. Pero pag 3 to 4 members mo, pwede po mo mag-correlation research, pwede po mo mag-regression research. Pero pag 5 to 6 members mo, dili pwede mag-assessment research. Ang pinaka-minimum is the correlation research of 2 variables. Any question on this? Okay, tanaw doon sa chat. Walay question. Okay, bantay. Akong question. Okay. Question bi ako niya. So this is the sige ini siya. Mga steps no na kailangan nato mga milestones nato. So first is title selection, mag-submit man mo title karong February 28 or before, and then kailangan approved na ako, no? Ako man ang instructor, approved dapat siya. And then unya na lang ning co-author na faculty sa ano na lang ni siya kanang hapit na mo mahuman gani kay ila man buhaton mag-ano man sila kanang mag-final checking lang sila. And then napod siya laing role no na dako pud kaayong contribution sa inyo ha. Later na lang. And then pag okay na, then mag-conduct na tag research and then statistician consultation. So required siya nga mag-hire ta og data analyst. So ang data analyst ang buhaton siya ang mag-compute sa responses and maghatag og interpretation sa responses. And then optional lang siya magpa-grammarian. Nakadungog man siguro mo ana sa mga thesis no na need og grammarian, pero in this case optional lang siya. Final checking with the co-author and the instructor. Ako man yung instructor. And then, I'm also your advisor, no? Actually, because I'm the instructor, di na lang ta mag-assign ng advisor. Although, natay faculty co-author. And then, you will be, pag humana mo, no, sa full paper na, gikan abstract to chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, references, pag humana mo anak tanan, you'll be doing the public forum video. And then submit na mo sa final revision of the paper. Sa public forum, ang buhaton ana, of course, i-present ninyo ang results. Ihatag na akong sample later, na ako'y sample sa public forum later. And then, i-present ninyo siya. So, I'm thinking, kung napatay time, pwede ta actual jud pag-present ka ng live gani na online live siya. However, kung dili siya pwede, mag-recorded na lang ta og video. Okay? So, dako examples ipakita later. Graph sa title. Okay na. And then, last requirement is the publication to journal. So, dapat ang inyong output ma-publish jud siya sa isa ka journal. Okay? So, in summary, no, I'll give you a format and guideline of the research and hatagan ta mong format dito sa atong LMS, which is the Google Classroom. So, in summary, inyong isubmit is the full research paper, gikan abstract unto references, the public forum presentation, it could be online or pre-recorded, and then lastly, the publication to journal. So, manang tulo ka buok na requirement for the course outcome na final project. Okay? Oh, any questions so far? So far, so good ba? Amoy na may question. You can chat, no, if you have questions. Okay, so wala naman siguro may question, no? Hopefully you have understand, no, the things that you need to do and requirement ani na course. So mao ni siya kana jung tulo ang pinaka-importante if you want to get a passing grade of this passing marks of this course. So naay payment, no, since mag-hire man tag statistician, of course naay payment. And then since mag-publish ta, of course naay payment. Kung 3 to 3 members lang mo, 3 to 4 members, 3 to 4 members siya dapat. I-change lang na ako para hindi siya confusing. Pag 3 to 4 members, ang payment niya is, of course, we need to hire the statistician. So, pag assessment lang manggod siya, sayon lang manggod siya kay one variable lang manggod siya. So, 300 pesos ang payment sa statistician. Para sa 5 to 6 members na correlation o regression, 500 pesos. For the publication, since kailangan siya i-publish, no, na may bayad, no, 500 pesos siya per group. But, murag nakipag-negotiate to si Sir John na murag ang school daw mo contribute pod ang school, no? Siguro mo lesser na siya, kaning 500 mo lesser siya gamay. Dili jud siya mawala ang 500, siguro mahimo lang siya 300. Depende pa unsa patong response ni Sir John kung pila jud ang mabayaran. For as of now, 500 lang sa, pero sure jud ko nga naa jud na makuhaan na siya nga na maminosan na siya na budget na sa inyong payment. So take note ha, take note. This is by group. Okay? Dili siya by individual. Kaya basig mo ingon mo sa inyong parents nga, ma, ingon to si Sir Buladakov na bayro nun daw 1,000 pesos taga isa. Wala ba jud ko giingon ana. Again ha, balik-balik ko na ako. This is by group. Okay? Ang required lang jud ana isang statistician. Of course, kita man jud ang kamo man jud ang need mo bayad ana by group. Okay? Sa publication mo gamay pa na siya, siguro mga around 300 na lang na siya because ana si Sir John nag-promise siya nga i-shoulder siya sa school. Actually, 2,000 jud ang murag mga 1,500 to 2,000 ang publication nga pinakabarato. So, murag nagsabot namin ni Sir John nga ako ug si Sir John magbayad sa 1,000. And then kamo sa 500. And then, anak po itong si Sir John nga, basi daw mo shoulder po ang school, makuha na ning publication nyo gamay, so lesser na lang yung payment. Pero wala pa na siya, that's not yet sure, but for now, mo lang na siya ang payment for now. Any questions about the payment? You can chat kung hindi mo katingog. You can chat kung hindi mo katingog. Okay na, no? Okay na. That means, hindi na mo, you agree, no? Wala na may question. Okay, thank you, no? So, at least, kabalo na mo on sa inyong buhaton, no? The 3 requirements, and then your payment also. So, kailangan man ito bayaran ko ng statistician, no? And then, of course, we need to pay for the publication. So, hopefully, no, mo gamay dyan maayon yung publication. I'll try to negotiate, no, sa school ninyo. So, at least, karon pa lang daan, kay mahuman man ta April, no, or May, naradira no mahuman ta. Karon daan, nakabalo na mo on sa inyong mga requirement, on sa inyong responsibilities. So, I hope na may groupings, and then, you can start collecting the titles later. So, these are the different titles, no? These are the different titles. So, actually, mamili lang man mo no kung assessment, correlation, or regression siya. Pag assessment gani, usually na ay word jud na assessment. Or usually, isa lang ka-variable. Makita nimo isa lang siya ka-variable. And then, pag correlation, ay word na relationship. Or correlation. Or duha ka-variable jud, naka-state jud siya nga duha ka-variable. Pag regression gani siya, na ay word nga effect, impact, influence, etc. That means kung naga-influence ba ang variable 1 sa variable 2. Now, kaning nga title, I have a question, no? You can just write the answer sa chat. So, kanina title, Relationship of Technology as a Learning Tool to Student Motivation and Education among college students in Davao del Norte State College. What do you think ang yang research design? Is it assessment, correlation, or regression? So please write your answers in the chat box. Please. Para makaano ta, ma-proceed ta sa next slide. What do you think is the answer or yung research design? Is it assessment, correlation, or regression? Yes, correct. It's a correlation. Of course, no, the relationship pa lang daan sa word na relationship. Next question. What are the, di ba pag correlation, ihamang i-test kung unsa man nabay relationship ang duha ka variable. What do you think are the 2 variables here? So write in the chat box your answers. What do you think ang 2 variables na ihang gina-study to know if naabay relationship? So, butang ilag number 1 o number 2. So, what are the 2 variables? Based sa title ha, may balaan naman gunadaan sa title. So, what are the 2 variables, the study variables, ani nga research? So, just write number 1, sa itong variable 1. Number 2, variable 2. Sige. Can you write your answers on the chat box? Okay, by the way, recorded ni siya no, mahibalaan ako kinsa ang nag-answer. Sige daw. What are the 2 variables na study variables based on the title? Okay, correlation man siya. So, if correlation siya, you are trying to relate 2 variables. Kung na ba siya relationship. So, what are the 2 variables? Okay, very good. Na yung mga answers. Na yung technology, student motivation, na po yung technology, education, na po yung technology student. Okay, very good, no? So, almost correct na to siya, no? Pero kulang lang siya. So the first variable here is technology as a learning tool. Okay, that's the one variable. The second variable is student motivation. Okay? So, yes. Okay, thank you for your answers. Ako, recorded na siya tanan ka na nag-type dira. Okay, so let's proceed na no sa next next. Kani next na title, the effectiveness of social media pages of tourist spots in Davao de Oro towards customer satisfaction. Is this assessment, correlation, or regression? Write your answers in the chat box. Assessment, correlation, or regression? Okay, so na mga answers, no? Okay, very good. Your na regression, na assessment. So, okay, you can continue typing, no? Recorded man siya kinsay nag-answer. Thank you for your participation. So, the answer for this is, as I mentioned earlier, di ba, pag regression na siya impact, effect, effectiveness, or influence. So, this title, research, is a regression nga paper. Okay? Correlation siya, pero nagamit siya regression. Ano? It's still correlation, pero higher siya, regression siya. So next question, last question for this paper. What are the two variables? Diba? Pag regression siya, ang variable 1 ba unsay effect niya sa variable 2? That's the main research question of a regression. Unsang effect ni variable 1 sa variable 2? So what are the two variables? So just write one variable katong variable 1, then 2 variable 2. So pag regression, make sure jud nga dili siya pwede magka-interchange. So katong tama jud tong dapat sa number 1 nga variable and tama po tong sa number 2 variable. Dili pwede siya mag-interchange. So what are the two variables on this article? So just write number 1 unsay name sa variable 1, number 2 name sa variable 2. Okay, so please write your answers in the chat box. Okay, nanatay mga questions diri. Thank you. Again, two variables gapon siya, no? Since it is a correlation regression. So the correct answer, okay, just keep coming, no, your chat. So naka-record man na siya inyong mga text, no? Okay, so the two variables here, no, thank you for your answers, is social media pages of tourist spot. That is the first variable. And then the second variable is customer satisfaction. So, halos tanan nakatama diri, no? I think na dyan pinakatama ka ni si Caballero Riven. Complete yun siya ilahang first variable. Although, pwede po ma-consider ang social media pages. However, mas nindot yun na mas specify kung unsa na mga social media pages. Okay, thank you for your answers. So, you just explore, no, these are other titles. So, explore lang ninyo siya. This can be your basis sa katong mga inyuhang titles. So, pwede po about government websites, etc. Okay? So, napay more titles din, no, i-share lang nako ni na slides. So, basically, no, how can we know if it is an ICT variable? As you notice, kaning mga titles, napod siya pagka ICT variables, no? Example, kaning this title. So, klaro kayo, no, effect of technology, that is an ICT variable. Next will be, klaro kayo siya, usability and accessibility of the government websites. So, an ICT variable is a very large discipline. Pwede about websites, about kaning QR code registration websites, pwede social media, pwede about computer skills, ICT skills, pwede about games. Okay? Kung hilig kayo mo magdula o games, no? Pwede about video games, I'm referring to video games. And then, video games is a very large discipline also. Naman tayo video games na RPG, na video game na Battle Royale, na MOBA na video game, diba? Na first person shooter nga video game, di ba, na maging ana. So you can select any of those genre of video games. You can further select, example, you want to know kung nabay relationship sa game design environment towards the gamer interest sa mga battle arena na games or royal games, battle royal arena games. So inyohang i-test kung nabay relationship ang game design environment sa interest sa mga gamers. Okay? So unsay mga example sa battle royal arena game? Okay, you can chat your answers. Unsa may mga examples na mga battle royale arena game? Tama ba na akong gina-mention? I believe tama siya. Yes, unsa example sa battle arena or battle arena games? Mga battle arena games ata. Okay, any examples of battle arena games? Okay, pwede yan, Clash of Clans, no? So, dili niyo i-mention na Clash of Clans. I-mention lang ninyo, very good, no? I-mention lang niyo ang type of the, yes, tong its. Tong its. Okay, i-mention lang niyo ang type sa game. Okay, pwede na. Gusto niyo mahibalaan ang game design environment, na ba siya relation sa interest sa gamers. Pero pwede po dili about games. Pwede about ICT skills, pwede about kanang websites, pwede siya about multimedia, okay? Pwede about networking, okay, Clash Royale, yes. Okay. Thank you for that. So mo to siyang ICT variables. At least na namoy idea unsa na mga titles ang inyong ipang-submit. So there are more titles in my ResearchGate. And then para na mo'y motivation o inspiration sa yung title. And then para sa public presentation, okay, as I mentioned, I will give research guideline and format. So, for your public presentation, di ba, as I mentioned, you need to submit a public presentation, no? I will show the examples of the public presentation. So, ihatag lang na ako ang link. So, mo ni siya diri sa akong school. Okay, League of Legends. So, mo na siyang link. So, nandira ang mga sample nasa chat box ang sample ng mga titles, no? So, titles and their video presentation. So, you can just watch their video presentation. So, para sa their title is Strategy, Multiplayer Online Battle Arena Game Skills and Learning Behavior, a Correlational Study Among Gamers in Panabo City. So, pwede nga na siya. Social Media Marketing Towards Consumer Buying Behavior, a Case in Panabo City. Internet Use of Double del Norte Student as Convenience and Amusement. Okay, so daghan kay titles diri, you can get an idea on sa na title inyohang gusto. Impact of online blended learning towards learning process. Impact of learning management system as a new platform of instruction, etc. Yan. Correlation between online game engagement and attitude towards online class. So, pwede nga na. You want to relate online game engagement and attitude sa students. So, daghan na siya, no? Actually, 10 ni siya ka-batch. 5 pa lang ako nabuhatan og post, no? Kaya medyo busy pod ko. So you can just explore kanina page diri man namo gina-post ang mga outputs para na may idea. Okay? So that ends our discussion of the final project, no? Do you have any questions? Yes. I'll share to you these slides. And then I will try to upload the try na kog upload ang recording. Dako ba kay siya? Medyo 1 hour and a half, 1 hour data nag-discuss. Okay, I hope no if you will be asking questions kanang question nga wala jud nako na discuss diri kay um you can still no review the video. I will upload the video and then ihatag na kong link, ihatag po na ko ang slides. So as a summary, mao to siya inyong mga kailangan i-submit the final paper, and then the public video presentation. Video ba pwede pre-recorded or online, depende na siya sa pag-abot nato sa April or May, and then the publication. Okay? And then payment katong sa statistician and the publication. By group to siya. Okay? So, nahatag na nako mga samples for the Module 1 assessment. So, you can start answering sa Module 1 assessment. Nag-post na po kong thread para sa Module 1 assessment. You can just check out our Google Classroom. Na-post na po ako ang Google Form para sa inyong title submission. So, you can start actually submitting right now until February 28. Katong wala pa ka-submit og Module 1 na mga different application analysis activity, you can still submit, pero pag late na siya, of course, na deductions. Mag-start na tag Module 2 next week. I-post na akong Module 2 next week. And then, I'll provide some supplemental videos. I-post lang po na ako sa classroom, na supplemental videos. By the way, Module 2 is more on computation na siya. So, mag-compute na mo. And then, pwede naman mo mag-discuss on your own. Pwede man yung i-discuss yung giunsan yung pag-answer. Pero, ang pag-answer, Jud, kailangan man good handwritten. Of course, pag effort pod mo, nga kamo, Jud, musulat sa inyong answer. Okay? Effort pod tagamay nga kamo musulat sa inyong answer. Picturean man ninyo, i-send din nyo sa Google Classroom. And then, napoy time nga, magbuhat mong Excel nga file, then dito nyo isulat po ang inyong result sa statistical analysis na manggod ang Module 2. Okay? So, supplemental video, mga supplemental video nga dili ako nagbuhat, so ako aga po nang i-share dito. Okay, do you still have any questions para we can end this virtual meeting? Wala na. I hope wala na, no? And I hope you understand our virtual meeting. So I hope that you already have an idea and then you appreciate na the course, the quantitative research course. And then good luck to everyone and laban lang mo. And then God bless to all of you. Review na lang. Ayaw ng review. Oy, mura man mo gula na minaw kayo i-review lang. Anyways, you can just check the slides kung namoy nakalimtan or namoy mga question. Okay? So, thank you for that. I'll just give you a copy of this video pag ma-upload na siya. Medyo dakopod kayo siya. Okay? So, again, thank you for coming in the virtual presentation and see you on the next virtual presentation. Bye, class! Wala mong quick klase. Uy, di man mo storya. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Sige, ingat mo.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, sir.
You can now leave.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you kayo.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye. Ingat kayo. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Walay shirt.
Oh, sige. Pag andam na mo, Valentine's baya karong Sunday. So, pag prepare na mo dira.
Nag-prepare na, sir.
Saba, diya perida. Sige, chat na ako. Kani si perida ba? Sige, chat na ako. Nga ni Juni siya.
Wala.
Para gina si sir.
Wala, sir. Sir.
Sige, chat na ako.
Sir, sir. Sir, PM mo, sir.
Nga ni Juni siya.
Para gina sir.
Parang yun, sir.
Kulbaan lang ko ba? Unsa naman ni, oy?
Sir, igat man na, sir.
Okay na.
Dili man siguro igat, oy. Ano lang man siya. Kumusta? Okay naman na siya. Naman siya yung mga questions, good. Usahay, ginasin lang na ako siya kay busy kay ko. Okay. Ingat po tanan and enjoy your Valentine's Day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Happy Valentine's, everyone. I hope sana all na yung mga ka-date, no? Karong Valentine's.
Pwede ba mga apple ba?
Wa, dyan sana all.
Pwede pa man mahabol, sir.
Oh, pwede pa. Kinsa di mong ka-date perida.
Ay, sus.
Mo to kag panabo?